How's it going, guys? My name is Frank and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing our monthly analysis this month for January. Now we are doing this a little bit earlier. We normally do it on the 1st of each month, but we're doing this on the 29th of December, obviously because New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, it's a busy time, and I just thought I'll just get this out now, and then I don't have to stress about doing it later, and then, having work and everything else. It's a busy time of the year, so now's as good a time as ever. Hopefully nothing changes too drastically over the coming days, so this information stays relevant. Now, of course, what we're going to be looking at is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and kind of where we are in the market, and looking at what is to come in January and in future months. And in particular, how we seem to be transitioning from a Bitcoin phase to an Ethereum phase in the market. Now that is all to come in the video, so make sure to stay tuned. But of course, before we do go any further, we are at 395 subs, so very, very, very close to 400 subs. Let's push that up to 400, and if it's already 400 subs, why not push it up to 500, right? The more, the merrier. We do post weekly cryptocurrency content with different things, explanation videos, monthly analysis, all different kinds of things. So if you are into that sort of content, make sure to like, comment anything down below that you think, and let's get straight into the video. Now, the first thing that we do typically look at is our 4-year cycle and how that is looking. And as per the last few months, we've pretty well just been saying, well, the 4-year cycle is intact and there's nothing really to worry about. The only thing I would say with the 4-year cycle is we have been really, really strong the past few months. This has been a fantastic rally. There's no doubt about it. So what that means, I think, is whilst we're still bullish, we're still macro bullish, we need to proceed with caution, obviously. I mean, 4 months up, if we have a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not often that you get more than 6 months up. If we just have a look, obviously 1, 2, 3, 4 months up before we get a red candle. Here's a big rally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 months up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months up before we get a pullback. Here's 3 months up before we get a pullback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months up before we get a pullback, and we are on our 4th month. So maybe January isn't a red month, but there is. The longer we trend up, basically, is the more likely it is that we're going to have a pullback. So we're up to our 4th month. Maybe January is going to be a red month. If not January, more than likely February. If not February, very, very likely March, if you get what I'm saying. So we have been up for a long time now. So I think everything looks good with the 4-year cycle. Obviously, we're in our accumulation phase, and in that accumulation phase that lasts roughly 2 years, we typically hit the prior all-time high, which is currently $69,000. So we are still on course to hit $69,000 come November 2024. So that is all well and good. But of course, as we continue up and up and up, we need to proceed with caution, because obviously the chances of a pullback become more and more likely with each grain month, essentially. And you can see coming up to the halving is often a very congested time. So you just have a look at the first halving in 2012. You can see that Bitcoin stagnated quite a lot around that time period. If we go forward to 2016, you can see that obviously we had a big run up into the halving and then a big pullback around the halving. It's a bit hard to see. Here's a bit bigger, but you can see two red candles in the halving years, around the halving month. Obviously 2020 was right around COVID, so this time was already quite turbulent, and you can see that price was it's a real funny time in the markets, the Bitcoin halving. It's a bit of a buy the rumor, sell the news sort of event. It's a bit of a price manipulation, you could say, but it doesn't really matter, because you could sit here and say, oh, the price is going to dump because, price manipulation, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. We know it's going to happen, so don't get fooled by it. Maybe we're going to continue running up into the halving and then dump after. Maybe we dump before the halving. The point is that price is going to do some pretty funny things around the halving, so just be prepared for that. It's going to be hard to predict. I'm not going to sit here and try and throw out any crazy predictions or price projections or anything like that at the moment, particularly with the halving coming up, because it does tend to be a big news event. It does throw the price of Bitcoin around quite a bit, so just be prepared for that, and prepare accordingly to what your plan is. Now, if we have a look at Bitcoin on the daily chart, now obviously last month was somewhere in here. Where are we looking? November. And we were kind of saying that Bitcoin looks ready to have a big move, which in December, which it absolutely got very early in December. We got a nice big move, and we've kind of yet again entered a bit of a slow churn stage. Now, as we said before as well, what was I trying to I lost my train of thought there, sorry. But Bitcoin's run up. We're in another slow, boring period. This could last, who knows how long. If we typically look, we got, quite a short one, actually. I guess if you wanted to call this a slow, boring period of 37 bars, that is actually the shortest. And you can kind of see that we got 60, 48, 85. These last roughly, 2 months on average, 1 to 2 months on average. So we've probably still got a little bit longer left of a bit of a slow, boring period. Say it goes out to 45 bars. That seems like a pretty decent number. That takes us out to mid-January. So we could just chop and churn around for quite a while here going into the new year. So nothing too crazy could happen. But as we said, going into that halving, price action could get crazy. But what we really want to see with price action going into the halving is as long as the swing lows stay intact. So when we're talking about our swing lows, we're talking about this price level here at around $24,000 or $25,000. We're talking about this swing low here at about $19,500. We're talking about this swing low here at $15,500. I don't think any of these are going to get taken out. Obviously, they are a massive price away from current price. I mean, if we were to fall down to the swing low, we'd have to see about a 40% correction. So if that were to happen, it would be pretty terrible, obviously. But as long as these swing lows stay intact, even if we do have a drawdown, this is kind of what we've been saying, even if price falls over and comes down to here, that's fine. Nothing to really worry about because we're still above our swing lows. And when we look at it on this chart here, you can kind of see what lows I'm talking about. We're talking about these lows here, Oh, hang on. So we're talking about this low here along the purple line. We're talking about this big monthly low here. And then obviously we're talking about the cycle low here. So we're talking about these 3 big swing bottoms. And then obviously if we come down again, so if say we roll over and we come and then we form a base and we shoot off, then obviously that becomes our new swing low. And that's sort of the price range that we want to hold. So we're just kind of waiting and seeing. Price, as we said, it's been up quite a bit now, so a pullback wouldn't be surprising. But as long as we hold above these price ranges, there's really nothing to worry about. Our thesis is still fully intact. There's nothing really crazy changing. It's more just about these, small price movements that are going to flush out a lot of people in a bull market, because obviously people, they get overly bullish at the tops, overly bearish at the bottoms, and then they basically get fooled and lose all their money to the smart money, basically, who are buying low and selling high. And particularly in a bull market, the thing that I got to keep reminding myself is there's probably people here that aren't in the market. If you've been following our channel, we've been buying for a long time, long time. Probably before I started my YouTube channel. I started my YouTube channel 8 months ago. So I don't know. I've probably been buying longer than 8 months now. So it's been definitely longer than 8 months. But we've been accumulating low. And if you aren't in the market yet, the thing is that we're in a bull market. The 4-year cycle is in a bull market. The 18.6-year real estate cycle is in a bull market. So we want to be buying any dip opportunities that come. So when price does eventually roll over and we find new bottoms, those are the times to be buying. We want to look at good dollar cost averaging prices. That's basically what we want to be doing here in the market. Right now, is it the time? Hard to say. I'd probably wait a little bit longer just because we are in that churn stage. So there's a good chance we churn a bit lower, but only time will tell. As long as we hold these monthly swing lows, all is good. Now, part of the reason our thesis as to whether we are in a Bitcoin boom or in the Bitcoin stage of the market or going into an Ethereum sort of stage in the market is large. Well, one big reason is our Bitcoin dominance seems to be losing some support. So we were looking prior. If we go back to our last video, I've got my notes written down. We were kind of, where were we in? So if we pull this to a daily chart, just for context, so we were somewhere, we were about here, 30th of November, 30th of November, 1st of December. So we were right here when we made the video, and we're kind of saying, this Bitcoin dominance looks good. We found some support along prior highs, and we're looking to basically bounce away. And we said, we'd probably bounce into roughly the mid 50s, and then from there, we just have to wait and see, right? Because of course, we just have to wait. If we pump higher, that's great. If we start to dump, then we need to consider changing our thesis as we move into a Bitcoin, as we move from a Bitcoin stage to an Ethereum stage in the market. So let's just take a quick look at this clip here from the last video, just so you guys get a better understanding of what we're talking about. So I'll let this roll. Continue up, and once something happens, if this trend line just comes down and breaks, then we'll start to think, okay, is our thesis wrong? If this trend line here breaks, there'll be good reason to start to reconsider our allocation of assets, because obviously right now we're saying Bitcoin is the best investment in crypto, but of course that could change if if one of those things happen, if the trend line breaks, if the prior support levels break down. That's when we start to consider something else. But until then, no reason to change our thesis. Okay, so obviously this aged quite well or quite poorly, depending how you look at it. Obviously, we have broken down of the support, so it's time to start to reconsider our thesis. Now, it is important to remember we are still holding this trend line that we're talking about, so we're kind of on a bit of a limbo spot, I'd say, where it's hard to consider, but I think we're definitely looking at transitioning into an Ethereum stage into the market, which will then transition into altcoins probably in 2025 sometime. So this is just an early warning sign that, maybe Bitcoin isn't the best investment anymore. We've broken down of our support. We got that breakaway that we were talking about, but obviously price just came straight back down, and that's where we need to, we need to stop and think, okay, we rode Bitcoin up. We've been bullish on Bitcoin dominance the whole time. That's great. We've reaped the rewards, but now we need to start to consider changing our opinion. We're not a perma Bitcoin dominance bull. We're not sitting here saying Bitcoin dominance is only ever going to rise. That's foolish. We're just here to make money in the markets. And what it's saying is that it's potentially time to start reconsidering our portfolio allocation. We should start to consider going heavier into coins like Ethereum. So long story short, just keep an eye on this support line, I think. And if that does break down, then we need to consider, okay, where are we going to next? Bitcoin dominance could break down to these prior highs. And then, next thing you know, we could be in an altcoin market. So keep an eye on that. But what we're going to look at with Ethereum kind of starts to explain this as to why Bitcoin dominance is dropping. So for the past few months now, we've been looking at Ethereum being in this big trading wedge, and $1,900 up to $2,200 being that big resistance level. And what we were saying last month, if we have a look again, just for context, where were we last month? The 1st of December, we were right here. We were right on the precipice of this big breakout here. Where were we? We were right on this candle here. So, obviously, we were saying that it's great that we're starting to get closes above if we put this on the weekly chart, it looks a little bit nicer, I think. But we got some closes in between this level, which we hadn't seen for a long time, which looked like support. And we're basically saying that best case scenario from here, if we can break above 2,200, which we absolutely did, if we can close above that, this looks like the start of the Ethereum bull market for sure. Because if we have a look now at, obviously this has been a big long churn period, lots of resistance, and we've finally broken out of that, and now here it looks like we are heading off to the races. That might be a bit of an early call. Obviously, we could still come back down, but I think this is where Ethereum will likely start to take off. There could be more pullbacks. We might even come down a bit lower, back to the 19, back a bit lower. It could happen. But if we're thinking about where we are in the market, obviously, we are heading closer and closer towards that green parabolic stage in the market. So it seems like, with Ethereum breaking some prior highs, that some resistance, building support above, it looks like we're getting ready for the Ethereum stage of the market. And that's also largely why we're seeing Bitcoin dominance come down, because Ethereum is starting to rally. So from here, I guess, get ready if you're in Ethereum. Hopefully you've been with us. As we said, we've been buying a long time now. So hopefully we've been buying all the lows up, and we're getting ready for this big final, or not final move, but we've got a lot longer left in the market. We've probably got out till, roughly around 2025, 2026. So if we see a new fresh all-time highs up here, that wouldn't be surprising. So just get ready if you aren't in Ethereum. Same thing again. Look for good general dollar cost averaging areas. If there are pullbacks, when you're in a bull market, dips are for buying. So do what you want with that information. Obviously not financial advice, but ETH looks in an incredibly strong spot right now, in my opinion. Now for Crow, or the Kronos token, nothing's really changed in the last month, unfortunately. It still looks like we are in this Wyckoff accumulation. It still looks like we are in phase D. So if we have a look at this schematic, it looks like we're still in phase D with our last point of supply, and it's just a wedge that we're in, and eventually, hopefully, if all goes to plan, we will break out of here and enter a phase D, and that's kind of what it looks like. Last month, it was pretty well the same story. I mean, we were back here and we're like, okay, this is probably, a last point of supply, and, we're still in the exact same spot, churning, and, price is compressing, and pretty well the longer price stays stagnant, the longer price, has to build up and accumulate, the bigger the move out is going to be. So it's not a bad thing by any move. So hopefully that big move is to the upside, if it supports our thesis of that we're in a Wyckoff schematic, and basically we're in phase D of the market in this last point of supply, and we will break out into a phase E. So nothing's really changed on Crow. I guess the only question would be, where are we likely to break up to? I mean, we take it off logarithmic, but where are we going to break up to? We could go upwards of 15 cents. We could even come up higher into around the 20-cent range. That wouldn't be surprising. It's hard to really say. We really want to focus more on the timing of things rather than the price action. Price will take care of itself. We just want to make sure we're situated at the right time, dollar cost averaging at the right times, because I know personally I've been buying up these lows. I've been even buying up in phase D, because obviously it looks like price is about to explode out. Now that's just my opinion, so do what you will with that information. As I said, not financial advice, but it does look like we're in that phase D, waiting for a breakout on the Kronos token. Okay, now let's just have a quick look at a couple of altcoins. So obviously Salana has been performing exceptionally well. Last month we were looking at Salana and we were saying this is a pretty strong token. Now where was December? It would have been right down here somewhere. We were looking at this and we were saying, well, it looks like from here, it's very similar to Crow. We were saying that it could be a schematic here where, just look at the pattern, last point of supply. You can kind of see what happens after the last point of supply. It explodes out. So Salana, we were saying, looks like one of the stronger altcoins at the moment. It absolutely has been. I'll show you guys that clip. And last but not least, Salana. This is probably the other one that looks good. So Salana XRP probably looks like the better altcoins at the moment, in my opinion. I mean, just higher lows, and we've kind of broken the resistant range, and we're kind of consolidating above. I think this could be a bit of a phase D for Salana as well, similar to Crow. So only time will tell with these altcoins. Okay, so obviously, while some of my predictions age like milk, this one quite like wine. It seemed to be perfectly a phase D, and since then we've broken out. Now, of course, do we want to be buying at $120 Salana, or do we want to wait for a pullback? We're going to wait for a pullback, guys. So if we're looking at where price could come down to, I think it's reasonable. If we have a look, we got a 50% level, so obviously the high to the low is our 50% level, and we're looking at roughly $67 being that 50%. But we're also, I think if you just have a look across and we take, roughly, some of the prior lows, some of the prior tops over here where there's a bit of congestion, that takes us around $77. So I think, okay, we're not going to pick the exact bottom here. So I think once price, or if hopefully price retraces back down to around $80, I think that would be a good dollar cost averaging range. Again, if we can, even if it just wicks into $80, if you're buying along here, I think that's a good area to be buying. If everything falls apart and we break down to $67, the 50% level, then, throw everything out the window. It doesn't matter. Salana looks weak, but at the moment, Salana has been one of the best performing tokens, but now we just want to wait to try and find a little bit better buying opportunities. We don't want to be buying high, and we don't want to be catching a falling knife either. So just wait and see if we can start. Obviously, the chart is just straight down at the moment. If we can start to see some actual bottoming patterns, if we can start to see price come a bit lower around that $80 range, I think that's where I think that's a bit more of a reasonable price to be buying at for Salana at the moment. Okay, a couple of other tokens that are looking better, just to throw them out there for you guys. ICP, is this a nice little Wyckoff schematic as well? Maybe, but the point is that we have broken, if I take my magnet off, we've broken above some of these trend lines, you can see, and it looks like we're forming a base above, and it's like deja vu. Is this a phase D for ICP? I think there's a good chance it is. Obviously, a lot of altcoins are going to start to turn around now that we are entering that not later stage, but where the bull market is turning from a Bitcoin bull market. Bitcoin's still going to go up in price, obviously. It has to go up in price for the bull market to continue, but we're looking at a lot of different altcoins are performing quite well. ICP, probably maybe in a Wyckoff schematic if you want to put your dollar towards that. It could be the case. Hard to really say at the moment until it happens, but I think it does look like it's in a pretty nice spot at the moment to buy. Another token that I think looks good, this token was really popular once upon a time, the Trust Wallet token. The thing about this is that it's basically just got higher highs and higher lows. I mean, even in a bear market, we are seeing this token create higher lows, higher highs. So I think if this token continues to perform well in a bull market, I can only imagine where it is going to go to. So, obviously, you just have to look at this as quite a simple higher highs and higher lows. It's not really rocket science. This is quite a simple pattern that we're looking at with Trust Wallet token. Now, I don't really know these tokens ins and outs. I don't know the tokenomics, to be honest, guys. I just look at charts and I go, this one looks good at the moment. So, maybe let me know down below if you guys know more about Trust Wallet token. But I think it does look in quite a good spot for the upcoming bull market. But I think that will do it for today, guys. So just remember everything that we've covered. So we've looked at the 4-year cycle, looks good. Bitcoin on the daily chart looks like it's probably just going to churn for a little bit. Bitcoin dominance breaking down. Is this the start of the Ethereum stage of the market? I think it's going to depend a little bit on that trend line and just see where we go over the coming month. It's going to be a really, really important month as to whether or not we're in the Ethereum stage of the market or if we're still in the Bitcoin stage of the market. Obviously, Ethereum breaking up into the 2200 range, absolutely huge. It looks like this Ethereum is going to go ballistic pretty soon, I think. Crow hasn't changed, still in the phase D. And then obviously those altcoins that we look at, Salana, ICP, Trust Wallet token, I think they're looking a lot stronger. Obviously there's hundreds of thousands of altcoins that I could be looking at, and which tokens are the strongest, I can't decipher them all. I'm just looking at a few that I've been keeping track of, so hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. You know what we did forget? Hang on one second. We did forget to look at XRP. Is it this chart we use? Yeah, okay, it's still in the same spot. So, so nothing changed with XRP, but XRP does look in a slightly stronger spot. But as we said prior as well, XRP doesn't move a lot in price from the bottom to the current price, only 114%. So XRP, it looks good on the chart, but its moves are a lot smaller. So that pretty well covers it for today's video, guys. Now, if you aren't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Hit the like button. Comment any questions down below. Comment some altcoins as well. If you want me to cover any particular altcoins and show my opinion on them, I can definitely do that for you guys. But for now, have a good New Year's. Hopefully Christmas was all good for you guys. And I'll see you in the new year in 2024. How crazy is that to say? See you guys.